All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back. It's been a minute since we posted a video. Obviously, that was intentional. On vacation, still on vacation, but get back here. Be back Sunday. So didn't post any videos on purpose. Didn't really like the slate heading into the break. The games just felt weird. I'm glad I did, just because we saw some really funky results. So just decided to take those last couple days off before the break. Knew some weird stuff was going to happen, or at least had a strong feeling. Now we're out of the break. So this is coming out quite early, and I like the line. So I thought I'd put this out early. We don't necessarily know all the pitching matchups, but a really good idea on who's going to be pitching. So we're going to jump into the slate. A lot of games I don't like, if I'm being honest. So we're just going to kind of cover those pretty quickly. But this game I do like. So Cubs and Diamondbacks. Justin Steele is confirmed to pitch. I believe it's going to be Zach Gallen that he's going up against. And we see the line at 7.5. So that kind of lines up. Really need to see what the wind's going to be like in Chicago. It would be nice. I might actually look at a forecast. If we see the wind blowing out, I'd probably take the over here. Gallen hasn't exactly been a stud lately. So in his last 3 starts, that's comprised 13 innings, and he's given up 13 earned runs. So we see, just in general away, he's got a 4.65 away ERA. That said, Steele, who's been pitching amazing lately, so less than 2 earned runs in 8 of his last 9 starts. So he's been dealing, and that's a pretty even mix home and away. So we see Steele's ERA is a little blown up at 3.13. That was due to some bad earlier outings in the year, but he's just been super solid. So the fact that we can get the Cubs at plus money, backing a pitcher like Justin Steele at home, to me, is just kind of a no-brainer. I know the Diamondbacks had been hitting lefties quite well, but we did see them kind of go on a cold streak there coming into the break. So definitely Cubs for me in this game. I really like this line. All right, next game. We've got Pirates and Phillies. It should be Aaron Nola going up against Mitch Keller. I think the line kind of reflects that here with 7.5. So really good pitching matchup. The Phillies, I'd like to see the bats come out a little hotter than what they were coming into the break. I think their WRC was looking a little low, and we start to see that pick up last 7 days at 153. So I like Phillies here. Probably not a game I want to touch, though. I kind of want to see a game with them, so probably not one I'll play, but definitely a lean towards the Phillies and that offense. All right, next game here. Oh, let's see. We got all kinds of spreadsheet issues. All right, we got Reds and Nats. Another game I don't really want to touch. We saw Hunter Green kind of get touched up, gave that 2-run home run in the All-Star game. Going up against Mackenzie Gore. I would say edge to the Reds. I like the Nerfy. I think the Nerfy's at minus 130. First 5 under, I think, is a pretty good bet. I expect both pitchers to pitch decently well. I would back the Reds, but I get a little nervous when the Reds face a halfway decent left-handed pitcher. They just haven't fared well. That said, the previous 7 days, and all these stats were taken before the All-Star break, so they're, still fresh. But I just don't necessarily trust the Reds here. And if we look at the series so far between them, they played 3 games in Cincinnati. Cincinnati took 2 of 3, but they were all fairly close and all fairly high scoring. So good look at the over in this one. I could definitely see the over hitting. But kind of another one where I just kind of want to see how the Reds come out of the break here. All right, next game, Rays and Yankees. Garrett Cole going up against Eflin. Eflin at home and Eflin away are kind of Jekyll and Hyde. So when Eflin's at home, you tend to take him. When he's away, you fade him. So he's got a 5+ away ERA. I think we're starting to see Garrett Cole kind of round back into shape. I think we're seeing that with his K prop. I believe it's at 6.5, and the over is favorited. So I like Yankees here. Little juiced at minus 192, so it would have to be a dance partner. I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable taking them on the run line, especially at plus 120. You could look at -1. I don't see any lines out for that, but I would assume that's probably going to be somewhere around minus 130-ish. So if you want to play that as a straight, I would assume that's going to be somewhere around minus 130. But I do like them today. I like them, or tomorrow. I like them a lot to get the job done. All right, next game, we've got the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Another game that honestly surprises me. This should be Tarek Skubal going up against Gaussman. Gaussman at home has not been good. He's been pretty decent on the road, but has not performed well at home. Going up against Skubal, who obviously is a much more dominant pitcher. And if we look at the Blue Jays, just the last 7 days, they had faced some okay left-handed pitching, and they just didn't hit. .083 batting average, WRC plus at 18, which is quite bad. And then if we expand that over 14 days, wasn't like there's obviously improvement there, but even their WRC plus is under 100. So tells us they're below average there. A little shocked at this line at -110. Really love Tigers here to get the job done. We saw their offense really popping, coming in last 2 weeks before the break there. So I like Tigers there to get the job done. All right, Mets and the Marlins. So we've got Sean Manaea going up against Edward Cabrera, hopefully. Again, these are who I think the probable pitchers will be. Some have been announced. I think there's only about 6 that have been officially confirmed. So this is another one where I don't necessarily think it's been confirmed, but it should be the pitchers. I like Mets here to get the job done. I do get a little nervous about just the Marlins. They are just that team that just kind of tends to beat good teams every once in a while. We saw that with the Phillies series. So, but I think the Mets get the job done here. I like the way that they were going into the break. So, and I like Manaea in this situation. All right, Padres Guardians. We got Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, going up against Tanner Bybee. Cleveland at home has been very solid, 30-11 at home. We look at the Padres away though, over 500 still. Waldron, I like Waldron. Makes me a little nervous with the long ball, and you've got some hitters on the Indians or the Guardians, however you want to refer to them, who can put it out. So if we look at Waldron's splits, he's been pretty good this year. But that said, I just do think he's going to give up some long balls here. So I'll back Cleveland at home at a pretty nice price at -125. The Padres bats are just a little erratic for me. That said, we saw Cleveland go on quite a bit of a losing streak, so I actually kind of like that even more. I think they're going to come out of the break quite hot, so give me Cleveland there. All right, next game, Cardinals and Braves. Should be Sonny Gray going up against Max Fried. So really good pitching matchup. We see the over-under at 7.5, and actually the under is favored right now. So which makes sense, right? This is another game I'm going to fade. I can't trust the Braves at -175. Just offensively, they're too erratic. So to me, I would lean the Braves just because Sonny Gray hasn't looked phenomenal lately, but not a game that I'll be touching at all. All right, next game, Orioles and the Rangers. This is a game I do like. So Corbin Burns going up against John Gray. We saw the Orioles really sputter to score runs right before the All-Star break. I believe during that Yankee series, they went 1 for 29 with runners in scoring position. So it tells me that they were getting on base, and there were plenty of hits. They just couldn't get those timely hits. So again, another team I like to come out, a little hot from the break here. You've got your ace on the hill. So give me Orioles money line. I would even maybe venture run line. John Gray, kind of an enigma, to be honest. So kind of one that's difficult to handicap, but I really like the Orioles in this situation. So that's my play there. All right, White Sox and the Royals. Chris Flexen going up against Michael Wacha. Wacha has been pitching surprisingly well. His last outing wasn't the greatest, but he gets a really nice opportunity here at home going up against Flexen, who has not been great. So pretty sweet spot here to back the Royals. We just got to hope they hit. That's always kind of the uncertainty, but they are 31-18 at home. Their last couple of home starts, we have seen the bats kind of start to kick back up. So that's kind of what we're banking on here. But we looked at the White Sox, last 7 days before the break against a right-handed pitching, hitting 180 with a 53 WRC plus. So weren't exactly tearing it up. So I like the Royals here. It's a little juiced at -198, so you can look at a run line play at plus money, which isn't a bad option. And again, I think that -1 is probably going to be somewhere around 130-ish, between 130 and 140. All right, next game, Rockies and the Giants. Logan Webb on the hill going up against Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill, okay, serviceable. Right, Logan Webb, I don't love him away. So typically Logan Webb away, we fading. That said, he's in Coors. The over-under, I believe, is 10 or 10.5. So I think you're getting really good value for the Rockies here. Plus 154 at home. I like this spot for them, to be honest. So probably not a game I will play, but I would lean Rockies in this situation. So that's where I'm at. In terms of the over-under, I'd probably lean towards the under. All right, Athletics Angels, another game that I'm just going to completely fade. This is two really bad teams. Griffin Canning, J.P. Sears going up against each other. That said, the A's at home, probably their last 3 or 4 home series were quite good, and they were actually hitting. So we see their WRC plus against right-handed pitching over the last 14 days, 133, 153 over the last 7 days. So this was actually I believe a top 5 hitting team against right-handed pitchers over the last couple of weeks. So to me, this is a good spot to back the A's. The Angels away just haven't been very good. Just kind of feels like an athletic spot. So I think this line moves. If I looked, so I'm in Florida right now, so Hard Rock is the only thing I have. At Hard Rock, it's 110. But on DraftKings, I believe it's still plus 100 for the A's. So could be a good spot to pick up the A's at plus money. All right, next game, Dodgers and the Red Sox. Another game I don't want to have anything to do with. I need to see what James Paxton does. And Nick Pivetta, to me, just kind of started the season real hot. And he's just been getting touched up lately. So 2 pitchers that I don't really love. If anything, I would lean towards the over in this game. But that would be the only way I'd play it. If I had to pick a winner, I would go Dodgers. Just simply, they're at home. They've got hotter bats. So I would lean to them, but probably not a game I'm going to touch. All right, last game on the card here. We have the Astros and the Mariners. It should be Framber Valdez going up against Luis Castillo. Mariners at home are very solid, so 30-18 on the year. We know runs are at a premium here. I would expect this over-under to be probably 7.5. That's typically where it's at for almost every Mariners home game. But I like Houston in the spot. It's just really hard to pass up an Astros team that, really started to kind of come into form the last month here. So hard to take them, not take them when you're getting plus money. Going up against Luis Castillo, who has been good, but he's definitely vulnerable, especially against this Astros lineup. So to me, very clear spot to back the Astros here. All right, let's get into our best bets. All right, so straight bets, like I said, I like Guardians money line at minus 110. I like the Cubs money line at plus 105. It's probably my favorite bet. I like Tigers first 5 at minus 115. I would just rather isolate Skubal against Gausman. And again, if they end up tying after 5, it's just a push. So you could look at the minus 0.5 if you want the plus money there. But sometimes that offense doesn't show up against Skubal or for Skubal. And I don't think Cleveland touches it, or Toronto touches him up. All right, and then I like kind of an interesting bet here. So it's Zach Eflin to give up the first earned run against his matchup against Garrett Cole. So Eflin first earned run at minus 115. I really like that one. Like I said, Eflin away is a very different pitcher than he is at Tampa Bay. All right, and then in terms of our parlay, I like the Yankees and the Royals, just kind of a little mini one here at plus 128. So to me, this would be like a unit and a half type of play. This wouldn't be a half, just because I think we've got good value here. All right, and then we're going to go Yankees, Royals, Cubs. This would be more the half unit. That's at plus 369. And then 2 Nerfies I really like would be the Padres and Cleveland, and then the Astros and Mariners. So pair those together, you get plus 201. Those are probably my 2 favorite Nerfies on the card. And then if you want to have the old fun parlay, we'll bring that back. So you got Royals, Yankees, Orioles, Mets, and Cubs. Pair those 5 together, and you get plus 1265. So pretty stout there. But again, not one you want to do like a unit on or something. That's just a fun unit. So tenth of a unit, quarter unit, whatever you want to do. But definitely not a full unit play there if you like to have fun. I know a lot of folks like to do those big parlays. All right, I've kind of got the rankings here. Like normal, you can see there's just some games I don't really love. I would say, honestly, top 6 I like, and then the next 3, 7, 8, and 9 are just kind of, those are like yellow lights, and then the rest I just want to wait and see how they go. Potential upsets, I could see Miami beating the Mets. Miami just has, like I said, those weird games where they beat really good teams. I could see the Padres potentially beating Cleveland. If the Padres, like I said, their hitting's very erratic, they could come out and throw up 8 or 9 runs or 0. So But I'll back Tanner Bybee at home, going up against Waldron. It should be a pretty good one. I think first 5 under might actually be a good one in that matchup too. St. Louis could definitely beat Atlanta. If Atlanta can't hit, St. Louis might only need to get 2 runs to beat them. So we'll have to see. That'll be an interesting matchup there. Washington and Cincinnati. Could see Washington come out and hit Green. You know, Green is a fastball pitcher. Every once in a while throws in a changeup and a slider. So definitely has days where he gets tagged quite hard. And then Pittsburgh, Philly, I could see Mitch Keller throwing a really, really good game. And Nola maybe giving up a couple runs. If we go back to last year when Nola faced Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, I believe he gave up 6 earned runs. Now, conversely, when he faced him at home, he gave up 1. So we'll have to kind of see. Just 2 really good pitching matchups, and Keller has been pretty solid at home. In terms of prop leans, don't have a lot, but wanted to give you guys some. So one I do like is pairing Anthony Volpe and Juan Soto to each get a hit. So you pair those together, you get plus 102. And then I like Zach Eflin over 2.5 earned runs at minus 120. Just a gut feeling that the Yankees are going to come out hot from the break and throw up probably 3 or 4 on him. That wouldn't shock me. And then a kind of a parlay, a 2-man parlay that I like is Zach Eflin under 1.5 walks and Chris Flexen under 3.5 Ks. Pair those 2 together, you get plus 163. So I like those a lot. But that's going to do it for today. So these are the games for Friday. So you guys are getting this quite early. And then the games for Saturday, I will put out on Friday, probably Friday evening. And then I will be traveling back home all day Saturday. And then Sunday morning, we'll be back to our normal videos. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe. And I will catch you on the next video.